What's up guys? Today we have 9 watches totaling over $1 million. What we're going to do with it is we're going to build 3-piece watch collections, one of $100,000, another of $300,000, and one of $600,000. Let's go through it. Before we get into the watches, each watch collection is going to have a daily, you're going to have a grail piece, as well as a super unique piece. Let's go through it. So in our first watch box, which is our $100,000 watch collection, we have these 3 pieces. For our first watch, we have this Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris date. This watch comes in steel, so it's the perfect daily wear, so you can easily, beat it up, scratch it if you need to. It also comes on a rubber strap, so it's easy to wear. A cool feature about this piece is not only its stunning green dial or its open case back, but my favorite feature on this watch is, unlike any other bezel that you typically see that's on top of the watch, this one lies underneath the dial. So it looks super cool as you rotate it. And this watch retails for $11,100. So that's our daily for this collection. Next up we have our grail piece, which is this Rolex Day-Date. But not just any Rolex Day-Date, this watch is in platinum, which looks absolutely stunning to the eyes because of how it shines. But you definitely feel the quality in this piece because of how heavy this thing is, because it's platinum. Fun fact about platinum is it's 30 times more rare than yellow gold. The dial on this is an ice blue diagonal motif dial. This watch doesn't come with your typical fluted bezel that you often see. This watch actually has a smooth bezel, which I think is paired well because it doesn't distract you from the ice blue diagonal motif dial. Personally, I think this is a very classy looking piece. And the reference number on this is 228206, and it comes in a size of 40 millimeters. And we have this priced at $64,900. And for our unique piece under our $100,000 watch collection, I have this Bvlgari Octo Finissimo in black ceramic with a skeleton dial where you can easily see its manual wind mechanical movement. You'll also notice with this piece is it's super thin, so it feels very lightweight and comfortable on your wrist. This watch is a manual wind movement because of how thin it is. If it was an automatic movement, it wouldn't be able to fit in the 5.5 thinness of this watch. This watch is developed, produced, and entirely assembled in-house. It has 65 hours of power reserve and comes in a size of 40 millimeters. You can pick up this watch here at Wrist Aficionado for $23,200. Out of that $100,000 watch collection, which is your guys' favorite? Me personally, it's hard to go against that JLC. I think the bezel that turns is pretty cool. My thoughts, I love the platinum. Platinum's my favorite metal, so that's hard to go against, but I think I'm taking this Bvlgari just because of how thin it is, and with this skeleton dial, it's super cool in my opinion. So I think I'm taking the Bvlgari. Red Bull break. All right, in our $300,000 watch collection, we have 3 pretty special pieces. If you're building a $300,000 watch collection and you only had 3 pieces to build, I would start with this as your daily. What's special about this piece is this is actually the 50th anniversary, so it comes in this stunning gray dial, as well as it comes in a size of 41 millimeters and has an open case back where you're able to see its automatic self-winding movement. Though this watch comes in steel, you do get white gold hour markers, which is pretty cool. And you can pick up this watch here at Wrist Aficionado for $47,000. Also, another crazy fact about this watch is nothing on it, but it's the reference number, which is 15510ST.00, oh, that's O, no, 00.132.0ST.05. Okay, next. All right, so that's our daily. Next up is our grail piece for our $300,000 watch collection. Is this Lange and Söhne Zeitwerk Striking Time. This personally is one of my favorite watches of all time. What's special about this piece is it comes in white gold. It looks very classy. It has an open case back where you're able to see the mechanical wind manual movement. This is the kind of watch that though looks stunning from the front of the dial, on the back of it with its open case back, you can just stare at it and get lost in the hours and hours and hours of craftsmanship it takes to build out this watch. Probably the coolest feature on this piece is not only its jumping date window, but it's a striking time. So you hear this cool little chime. It has a 44.2 millimeter case size, as well as a 13 millimeter thickness. This is our grail piece because not every piece comes in a precious metal. Not every piece has a jumping date window, and not every piece makes sounds. Here at Wrist Aficionado, we have this watch priced at $120,000. This Lange and Söhne Zeitwerk Striking Time is truly a unique piece, but something even more unique is this next watch. For our unique piece in our $300,000 watch collection, we have this Rolex Submariner, but it's not like any sub. This watch here is one, it's a lefty, which if you watched our previous video, you'll have noticed the very first lefty ever produced by Rolex, which is called the Sprite. But this watch here was actually a custom piece done for John McEnroe, the tennis player. Because he was a left-handed dominant tennis player, he wanted to still play while being able to wear this piece. So Artisans de Genève, a custom bespoke watchmaker out of Geneva, created this lefty before Rolex created the Sprite. Limited to only 50 pieces, this watch has a skeletonized dial. Not only does it have a skeletonized dial, but it also has an open case back, unlike your normal sub, where you can see the movements on the back of this watch as well. Now, this is still a Rolex watch, but Artisans de Genève creates these masterpieces for their specific private clients. This watch comes in a size of 40 millimeters, and you can pick one up for $93,600. Again, our $300,000 watch collection consisted of our steel AP Royal Oak, the 50th anniversary, the Lange and Söhne Zeitwerk striking time in white gold, and our Artisans de Genève Rolex Submariner with an open work dial, the John McEnroe one of 50 pieces. If I had my choice, what am I choosing out of these three? I think I'm rocking with the Lange. Just more of my style. The striking time's pretty unique with the jumping date window. Yeah, I'm rocking the Lange. Next up, let's get into our $600,000 watch collection, where we have 3 watches. For the $600,000 watch collection, your daily is gonna be a little more different than your typical daily from a $100,000 or $300,000 watch collection. Because, I mean, you got more money to spend, so you may as well rock a cooler daily. So this watch here, we have a Rolex Daytona with a blue dial. This watch might look like steel, but it's not. This is actually solid white gold. You probably come around Daytonas quite often, but this is a pretty special one because it is in white gold and it has a stunning blue dial. So it's not a Daytona that you typically see every day. If you notice on the dial, it also has these small red accents on the sub-dials that give it a slight pop to the dial. I love this watch. You can pick up this watch here at Wrist Aficionado for $54,000. That's it for our daily watch. Now it's time to move on to our grail piece for our $600,000 watch collection. One of my favorite watches of all time. This is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, but not just any Royal Oak. This watch is extra special because not only does it come in titanium, so it's super lightweight, feels very sporty on the wrist and comfortable because of how lightweight it is. It also has a stunning green bluish dial. It's hard to maybe see from the camera there, but I'm telling you, you see hints of green in this dial when you look at it in a certain way in the lighting. The elephant in the room, or the elephant on the dial, is this watch is actually a tourbillon. So it has a tourbillon movement with this AP Royal Oak. You'll probably hear of a tourbillon movement often, and it's a big focal piece on this watch because it's here on the dial. For the longest time, a balance wheel and escapement was heavily affected by gravity, which does not do well for the watch. So Bvlgari came around and made a tourbillon movement, which puts the balance wheel and escapement in a rotating cage that counterbalances the gravity, so it no longer has an effect on those smaller movements. You can also see it has an open case back where you can see more of this stunning movement. And one of my other favorite features, one of many on this watch, is there's baguette diamonds on it. And you're probably like, oh, Chad, where are those diamonds? I don't see any. Well, if you look at the 12 o'clock hour marker, they're actually in replacement of that. 2 of them. It's a pretty cool feature. And if you want to pick up this watch from us, well, it's going to cost you $339,000, worth every penny. That was 8 out of 9 watches. Time to move on to our last watch. Probably the most insane piece. I don't know, this is pretty close to it. The MB&F Horological Machine N6 in titanium. Crazy, crazy piece, but so cool. If our goal here, which it was, to choose a very unique piece that doesn't really look like a watch, but is a watch, something that you don't quite often see every day, well, this is it. Nicknamed the Space Pirate, and limited to only 50 pieces. The engineering behind this watch is absolutely insane. You can tell the time by these numerical spheres at the bottom of the watch. It also has a tourbillon movement that is the centerpiece of this watch, and an open case back where you're able to see even more of the inner workings of the insane engineering behind the piece. And at the top is 2 turbines that turn, driven by the movement of the winding rotor. I don't know why you would need this feature, but it's probably one of the coolest things on this watch. When you twist this left crown, a shield pops up that covers the tourbillon movement that protects it from radiation. I'm just a big fan of the engineering behind this watch. I mean, from its curves to the shape to the tourbillon movement to its open case back, the 4 different windows at 2 at the bottom showing the date and the fans up top. This watch is an engineering masterpiece. It's a unique piece for sure. And if you want a unique piece like this MB&F, you're looking at $185,000 for this watch. And that's it for our $100,000, $300,000, and $600,000 watch collection. Out of these, if you had your choice, which would you choose? Would you change any of the watches that we decided to go with here? If you approve or disapprove, let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Chad. You can contact me at chad@wristaficionado.com. We have stores in Beverly Hills, Miami, and here in New York City. Stop by anytime. If not, we'll see you guys next week.